Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
I literally have no idea how to add myself to the chat. I hope you guys can hear me out there. Let me turn down this music. I'm doing a new thing. Trying something different tonight. Okay, I think we're live. If you're out there, there's a few people. Go ahead and say something. Say, hey, we can hear you, or we can't, or whatever. I'm not sure if I like this little situation, but can go in the normal studio thing. But I wanted to do something tonight about this Ashley, and I don't know if you guys are all in. I see 4 people in here. Let's see if we're streaming over on X. Yeah, we're live over there. I don't know if there's any noise or whatnot. But anyway, here we are. So there's Tyler Yonke. This is LPR. We're going to do a show tomorrow. I've got that lined up. Excellent stuff that we're going to be talking about. Actually, we're going to debate. I'm not going to debate. I'm going to break down the Dave Smith. Is it old Mike? I'm going to break down the Dave Smith murder situation. Say he's talked about murder, and I'm going to walk through this because there's a lot of misunderstanding, and then there's a lot of legal scholars out there coming back, and I think they're missing a few things. So we will talk about that. Let's see, no one in the chat, but if you do come up in the chat, we'll pop you in here. So like I said, if there's someone out there and you guys want to just make a note that you're there, let me know so we can have this in here. Okay, so that's coming to you tomorrow in the normal studio. By the way, I'm in my backyard here, and we have this green belt, this road here, and I could see these lights right behind us because there's a baseball field at this college that AOC, and you're live on YouTube and Rundle. Thank you, JC. The AOC and Bernie Sanders, they were right in my backyard this last week. A bunch of commies. We can hear them. You know, the neighborhood went a little crazy with because a bunch of hippies out here walking around. Anyway, I'm just in the backyard today. Chickens are over here. We got the smoker over here. Neighbors over there. They were fighting earlier, so maybe we'll hear that. All right. Yeah, bonus episodes. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about. Good evening to you, Curtis. Tonight I'm going to talk about Ashley St. Clair and Elon Musk. Now I've been rambling here for 4 minutes. You're really not going, what's going on? I'm a family law attorney. So this is particularly interesting to me. We've broken down this situation before and what I believed. And I think the more you're able to see kind of the development here, I was right, which is there's no way this was infertile, like IVF, because one, he had to take a DNA test, or he was court ordered to do so, it sounds like, and it came back. So she's gone out there, and then we're going to play a few clips here, and then we're going to talk about it because she did a new release, she being Ashley St. Clair, a new interview with the Wall Street Journal. And so we're going to be able to break some of that. Now, I'm using the Restream Studio, which I never use. So, oh, by the way, Bob Murphy's he mentioned me on his show. So we're going to he's going to come on the show next week. So hopefully 15 million to let my, yeah. Okay. There you go. 15 million to let my seed you. let me seed you. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. So anyway, let's get here. I'm still trying to figure out a little bit of how all this works. So I'm gonna be a little bit not so good here. So let me see this one. Okay, I think this is how we're gonna do it. Share the screen. We're gonna play it. We're gonna just do a few little clips here, and let's take it away.
And, you know, it's really incredible
Really
to have
loud.
someone who typically was left leaning. And a lot of the projects that he's been a big part of, you know, sustainable energy, the electric cars, all of this stuff is typically more left leaning things. And because they didn't like Elon's politics, they really iced him out of a lot of things in this administration. They revoked a contract for Starlink because they said that Starlink wasn't capable of providing internet to rural areas. That is fundamentally insane because guess what? The first person they called when they needed help in rural North Carolina, that was Elon Musk. The first person they called, they had two choices. It was either Elon Musk or Putin when those astronauts were stuck in space, and they had to call Elon Musk. So I think Elon also sees that there's not really a path forward for a lot of this progress and technological progress. You know, if we do want to be a space-faring civilization, we cannot have this regulatory state that has just expanded and will continue to expand endlessly under Kamala Harris. You know, they're delaying the launches of SpaceX rockets because of the FAA. So I think he really understands that in order for there to be progress for humanity, not just as America, but, you know, as a people, that we have to destroy this regulatory state. So I think they made a big mistake icing Elon out of a lot of these things and choking out his companies with these regulations.
Okay, so this is obviously before the election. So it is fascinating to kind of, and I by the way, I think it would have been good, and I wish she would have disclosed that she was banging the dude when she's advocating for him. It just is a little odd. So, but anyway, there you go. Two really bright females. The sound of her toasting Elon's salad. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, there you go for that. Now, I'm just, because then I wanted to play one other item here. Let's see. There we go. So this is going to be, this is just last month or so. Let's play this. Oops. Hang on. Let's back this up. There you go.
I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. How would you characterize the way that he's going about?
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one.
We won't get you on
that. After his passes.
We're not going to get you.
Carvana. So she did not the best deal, but the easiest way to sell your car, I believe. So there you go. And by the way, this is I didn't do a show about that at the time, but it is that a lot of that's just disturbing, right? Because we're out here, everyone's trying to make ends meet, you know, paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you're doing a little bit better than that. And this bitch is out here. I got a 60% pay cut. Now we're gonna read the article, and she's gonna break down more of this. And I told you at the time, I don't know all the details. I'm surmising a lot of stuff here. And one of those is that she probably could have got the better deal with him without going to court, but it just had to happen. Okay. And that didn't happen. So then she's forcing their way into court, and she's going to get a court ordered support. And that's going to be calculated. And it may not be what she thinks it's going to be. So we're going to read through the Wall Street Journal and take a look at it. Hi, JC and Curtis. Looking good for two kids, though. my mom never recovered after me, said ruthless Renda. Yeah. Lord, please grant me the undeserved confidence of a mid-female Jew. Well said, JC. Okay, so let's go to the Wall Street Journal article. I'm going to have to see if I can share this one as well. By the way, I'm working on a laptop here. Nothing is satisfactory to me, but here you go. Let's see if you guys can see that. Maybe not. Let's reduce this down. Okay. I think I don't know if that's even worth it to everybody. Maybe a little bit more. Let's go back here. Okay. Let's read through this. Let me move this over here. Can't really see your chats now. Let me go to the chat. There we go. So I could see your chat as we go along. Okay. The world's richest man juggles more than a dozen children and harem drama, along with running his companies and advising Trump. He recently took a paternity test in a battle with one woman over money and privacy. Okay, so maybe I don't know if you guys are going to already get the gist here of who is asking for privacy. Is it her or is it him? Because it's I think it's going to be him. Because I think she's not asking for privacy so much. So let's keep going. This is in the Wall Street Journal by Dana Matully, April 15th, 2025. Okay. Ashley St. Clair wanted to prove that Elon Musk was the father of her newborn baby. Okay. Hang on, my camera's doing something. But to ask the billionaire to take a paternity test, the right-wing social media influencer had to go through Musk's longtime fixer, Jared Birchall. I don't want my son to feel like he's a secret, St. Clair told Birchall in a 2-hour phone call in December. Birchall offered St. Clair some advice. His boss was a very big-hearted, kind, and generous person, he said, but Musk had a different side. When the mother of his child goes the legal route, unquote, in these discussions, that always leads to the worst outcome for that woman than what it would have been otherwise. Birchall told the 26-year-old plus. He said Musk wasn't sure the child was his. Okay. I haven't read this, by the way, before. This is my first viewing of this. And this is exactly what I'm talking about as far as so we can it's called guideline here in California, and a lot of states follow a similar calculation. Okay, so for child support, and you just put in the numbers, and there's all different kind of factors that can go into these, and then the guideline is presumed to be the correct amount to support this child. However, courts can deviate from guideline, and then there's what's called your high income earner downset, which basically is someone that makes so much money that it would be you don't need that much to support this child, okay, to really make things right. And then when you have other child support orders in place with other children, those get to go into the count as well, and it often reduces that. I've got a case right now where guy gets a girl pregnant, and he's married, and he already has kids, and he doesn't want to pay her, so he is divorcing his wife, and they have an astronomical support number. So when you put our calculation in, it doesn't get my client very much money because he's paying this astronomical amount of support. Now, this is my claim is it's they're just making this number up, which they are. They're not actually getting divorced. And anyway, so that goes into it. So Musk has a bunch of other kids. He's got these other, but he's got billions of dollars. So this, anyway, we'll keep going on here. 26-year-old plus said Musk, he wasn't sure the child was okay. And with that, you obviously need to determine if it's your child. It wasn't the first such conversation for Birchall. His public job is running Musk's family office, and he recently helped organize Musk's more than $250 million push in support of Donald Trump's election. Behind the scenes, Birchall also manages the financial and privacy deals Musk wants for the women raising the world's richest man's babies. Musk has had at least 14 children with 4 women, including pop musician Grimes and Siobhan Zills, an executive at his brain computer company Neuralink. Multiple sources close to the tech entrepreneur said they believe the true number of Musk children is much higher than publicly known. Okay. And by the way, I've been mocking her on this. He gets it just as much. He's not anything that I wouldn't want my child. By the way, my son just last night proposed to his girlfriend. They're going to get married. Congratulations. Hope they have kids. They're doing it the right way. Okay. Neither one of these should be exalted, right? I saw Phil Labonte said that he saw the birth his child's heartbeat or something at 50. I don't know. Is he married? Because people are congratulating him, and I'm kind of just like, get fucking married. I said it to Andy. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, she's gonna get pregnant. Get married. Do the right thing. It's good for your kids to see that as well. I mean, Ashley has 2 bastards, literally. 14 children. Okay, we talked about that. Musk offered St. Clair $15 million and $100,000 a month in support in exchange for her silence about the child, whom they named Romulus. I always love it how celebrities, they name their children pet names or action figure names, and then they name their animals like Fred and Ted, and their kids are Apple and whatnot, or Romulus. Similar agreements have been negotiated with other women of Musk's children, Birchall told St. Clair. And by the way, why does she need to know? Why does she need everybody to know that Musk is the father? He's not, making a big deal about it. Why should she? The fight with St. Clair was over terms of the deal. The baby has been their baby has been going on as Musk has assumed one of the most influential roles in U.S. government. As a top advisor to President Trump, he has been slashing staff and billions of dollars to the federal government. As head of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, with massive benefit programs such as Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare in the crosshairs. We only wish. Musk's baby-making project is relevant to his ambition for NASA, which he wants to move faster to go to Mars. He said on X that making people multiplanetary is critical to ensuring the long-term survival of humanity and all life as we know it. In Musk's dark view of the world, civilization is under threat because of declining population. He has driven to correct his historic movement by helping seed the earth. They're nicely done with this article. Seed the earth with more human beings of high intelligence, according to familiar with the matter. Now, here's my gripe with him on this. If this is his concept, maybe there's data that shows a dumb woman and a smart guy makes an intelligent child. But I think he's going about it the wrong way. He's picking some loose bulbs here. Okay. His businesses are set up to serve the idea. The main objective of SpaceX is to build a rocket ship capable of getting to Mars, and his other companies, including electric car maker Tesla, to help finance the plan. Musk refers to his offspring as a legion, a reference of the ancient military. Okay, enough about this shit. During St. Clair's pregnancy, Musk suggested they bring in other women to have even more of their children faster, to reach a legion level before the apocalypse. He said to St. Clair in a text message viewed by the Wall Street Journal, "We will need to use surrogates." Okay. He has recruited potential mothers on a social media platform X, according to some of the people. Musk has used his wealth to buy the silence of some women to have his kids. According to St. Clair, as well as other people, text messages and documents shared by the journal. Non-disclosure clauses are part of some of the payment agreements. If the mothers push back or seek outside counsel, Musk's advisor, including Birchall, have threatened financial retribution according to the documents and people. Now, retribution or just, hey, you're not going to get everything you want. Birchall described Musk's expectation to St. Clair. Quote, privacy and confidentiality is top on the list of every aspect of his life, every aspect. And his entire world is set up to be like meritocracy. Unquote. Benefits flow, he said, when people do good work. During the call with Birchall, St. Clair told him she had received outreach from a woman Musk had invited to have his baby. She said she was being caught up in Musk's harem drama. Well, I mean, these women act like they have no agency. I mean, first of all, when she was going out with him, there's stuff about she wants a rocket baby. So she has all these things out there. Loose lips sink space. Good job, JC. I'll get to the chat here in a bit. Let's keep going on this. They're acting like they have no agency, which is ridiculous. Making decisions and comments on your own, and deciding to sleep without protection with a guy that is like this, and then you're shocked It's like the dude that thinks he's going to, the pretty woman. He's going to bed the whore, and she loves me, right? Yeah. Details of Musk's baby mission are only now starting to spill into the public. Grimes begged Musk in February for help on X when one of their children was having a medical crisis because Musk wouldn't engage with her. Earlier that month, after the 4-year-old son, also called X, had been on national television with his father's shoulders as he talked about government and cuts in the Oval Office, Grimes posted that he should not be in public like this. It is a little odd if he wants all this privacy, and then he does that. A person familiar with Musk's thinking on agreements with the mothers of the children said that Musk believes it is better to resolve these matters behind closed doors for the safety and security of the child. Absolutely. As a family law attorney who's in court all the time, I would completely agree with that. Make new humans. I'm not really interested about all of Musk's interests. Okay, so he wants a lot of babies. That's his impetus. That's fine. Who cares about that? When the interviewer joked that Musk was doing his, I just don't want to read about this. Let's get to the juicy details. 2023, Musk had a meeting in Austin where people he described as Japanese officials asked him to be a sperm donor for a high-profile woman. According to a text message received by the Journal, they want me to be a sperm donor. No romance or anything, just sperm. He texted St. Clair later. And later told her he gave his sperm to the person who asked for it without naming the woman. Solid. I've done that. It was consensual. We were both working on it. Vivian Wilson, one of Musk's older children from his first wife, Justine Musk, said recently to Teen Vogue that she doesn't know how many half-siblings she has in her family. Musk is now estranged from Vivian because he refuses to accept her identity as transgender. Yeah, okay, so she's crazy. Justine Musk, and by the way, I've talked about this before. This is the kind of shit you get crazy kids with transgender, all kinds of problems when you have this when you're an absent father. You're more, it's not going to be the case, but you're more likely to have that happen. Grimes, whose legal name is Claire Boucher, has 3 children with Musk. She and Musk went through a custody battle, but settled in August. Musk offered his sperm to Zillis, and the two have 4 young children together. Zillis is viewed as a steadying force in Musk's life and is the most prominent of Musk's mothers. Okay, it's not his mother's, it's his lady. That's a really weird way to say it. He really wants smart people to have kids. Not true, because he's banging. We just saw an interview with Ashley St. Clair. She's not smart. He encouraged me to. Zills told Musk biographer Walter Isaacson, the Yale University graduate, was a founding member of the investment team at Bloomberg Beta and made Forbes 30 under 30, venture capitalist in 2015. Zillis also was a board member at OpenAI and worked at Tesla early in her career. Why don't you do the CV of Ashley St. Clair? Okay. 2 people close to Musk describe her as having special status, meaning Musk chooses to spend time at her home in Austin, as well as bringing her to high-profile public events. In January, Zillis attended a black tie pre-inauguration candlelit dinner with Musk and was photographed speaking to Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Amazon. See, and I think this is Jeff Bezos and his fiancée, Laura Sanchez, the astronaut. I think this is, I may have editorialized that. I think this is the big problem. He's banging her, but she's not special. And, let's be honest, we all want to be a little bit special. Weeks later, she was alongside Musk for a meeting in India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Blair House, the presidential gatehouse across the street from the White House, with 2 of their children and another of Musk's in tow. Pick a name. While Musk posts sometimes dozens of times a day about X and right-wing politics in his companies, among other things in his mind, he often interacts with lesser-known users. Still not me, though. He replies to them and sometimes interacts through direct messages. And he eventually solicits to have his babies. Musk, I'll have your baby. According to people who have viewed the messages, cryptocurrency influencer Tiffany Fong was covering disgraced crypto tycoon Sam Bankman-Fried's downfall when Musk started liking and replying to her posts. Musk's interactions ramped up as Fong posted more political content in support of Trump, and Musk followed her last summer. The sort of attention from Musk on X where he has 219 million followers, sent droves of followers to Fong. She only has like 300,000, I think, though, which was a financial boom. More engagement meant more earnings and part of a time revenue sharing program for creators on X. During the height of her interactions with the billionaire owner, Fong earned 21,000 on the platform in a 2-week period in November, according to a screenshot she posted. That was about when Musk sent her a direct message asking if she was interested in having his child. According to people familiar with the matter, the two had never met in person. It's okay, people. We don't need to meet. Fong didn't move forward with Musk because he pictured having children in a more traditional nuclear family, but decided to a few friends about the approach, including St. Clair, whom she as another conservative social media figure, and how she worried that turning him down could hurt her earnings. So Ashley is banging, possibly even pregnant with Elon's baby. He's then texting or DMing Fong saying, hey, you want sperm? And she's like, whoa. And so she reaches out to Ashley, not knowing that Ashley's carrying his baby. St. Clair and Musk had met earlier in the spring of 2023 after Musk began interacting with influencers' posts on X and followed her account. Soon after, they were exchanging direct messages before Musk invited her to visit the social media platform's San Francisco office, and then the relationship turned romantic. Musk invited St. Clair, who had been on an operations manager at a conservative media company that owns the Babylon Bee, onto his private plane for a trip to Rhode Island, where he was visiting his sons at college. First time they had sex, Musk joked that he should pick a name for their future child. I mean, he's just a cream pie man. He frequently talked about her having children, she said. Okay, and she's clueless about this. I mean, this bitch is crazy. I mean, there's the term we always use, never promise crazy a baby. But I mean, crazy lady needs to not bed crazy man. So here's Fong's tweet. So Elon subscribed. There you go. This is the one. She didn't have the one about her making the money. Okay. New Year's, talked to her about having children, New Year's trip to St. Bart's. We know this kind of stuff. He asked her, what are we waiting for? And the two conceived their son on a trip to St. Clair. St. Clair said. Being in the circle brought with it access to a constant stream of texts, particularly about his growing involvement in Trump's election. Before Musk publicly supported Trump, he texted her, I can't be president, but I can help Trump defeat Biden. And I will. In one text before Trump picked the running mate, viewed by the Journal, Musk asked St. Clair what she thought about Tulsi Gabbard as vice presidential candidate, saying that in an interview she said the right anti-establishment words. While Musk was in Pennsylvania canvassing for Trump before the election, Musk sent a series of texts about the urgency of winning the state to St. Clair. I mean, that's fine. You're saying all this stuff to her, but once again, I hope he's not asking for her opinions. In all of history, there has never been a competitive army composed of women, not even once, he wrote. Men are made for war, real men. Anyway, he followed up with, I'm in full war mode, going to the front lines today, must win PA. I think that's how he said it. Protecting Elon. In December phone call, Birchall told St. Clair that his job was to protect Elon. He told her that he has been happily married to the same woman and that he has been involved in family law courts very extensively through his work with Musk. I feel that I've been through like 3 divorces, he said. Who's this bitch? Is this Birchall? Is that a woman? I don't know who this person is. Birchall worked in finance before becoming one of the top consigliaries in Musk's orbit. Musk recruited him from Morgan Stanley's private wealth management group, where he was part of a small team managing businesses' money. Two men couldn't be more different on the surface. Birchall is practicing Mormon with a large family. They both have large families. So I don't know what's so different about that. Who works hard and multiple wives. Isn't that the Mormon way? Maybe Musk is just outwardly doing what other guy wants. Birchall's formal responsibilities are wide-ranging, from dispersing funds for months, super PAC, to assembling the team that helped Musk take Twitter private. His role is intermediary between Musk and some of the mothers happens in the background. Musk often asks, has Birchall step in to handle negotiations with the women over arrangements for the pregnancy, financial support after the arrangements play out in similar ways for the different women, according to a document, and people familiar with the matter. What document? To a document. What document? I hate these kind of reporting. Birchall was involved in acquiring the property for a compound in Austin, where Musk imagined the women and his growing number of babies would live among multiple residences, according to some familiar with the matter. He is involved in other property deals across Musk's different businesses. Zillis lives in the gated community with their children, and Musk comes and goes. Musk also attempted to get Grimes to move to the compound, but she refused. Similarly, he tried to get St. Clair to spend time in Austin with our kid Legion, according to the text he sent her. Birchall said in the December call with St. Clair that the NDAs are necessary. We have been through too many issues where to not sign some agreement associated with handling over $15 million plus dollars is absolutely insane and irresponsible. And because we have dealt with some very unstable, mentally unstable people, all of a sudden misremember things. He said, yes, of course. You've got to have these in court order stipulations. He references in as NDAs. Yeah, but when you have a paternity action, then you just do a judgment and a paternity agreement and it's stipulations. You're probably entering him in court. I mean, I would prefer to do that. So you get a paternity judgment. He added that his boss cannot allow people to just come and go and share his life information. He's the biggest lightning rod on the entire planet. And that makes sense. When Birchall told St. Clair another mother signed similar secrecy agreements, she observed that they didn't seem happy. Zillis, Birchall said, goes in and out of finding contentment. But Grimes wasn't ever going to find true happiness. I want to knock you up again. Grimes claimed on X that her court battle with Musk over custody of the 3 children bankrupted her and that she had a fraction amongst resources to navigate family court system. I don't believe it because the courts will invariably now it's Texas. I don't know specifically, but I would imagine it would be similar because we saw this with Steven Crowder, which is attorney's fees. You can ask for attorney's fees from one party to pay the other, and it's typically a discrepancy of income. And if their income is so much higher, you're just, especially with Musk, it's just not going to be a problem. Musk had to sue Grimes in 2023 in Texas to establish parent-child relationships. Musk had sued Grimes, okay? And Grimes countersued in California for primary physical custody. Okay, there you go. She alleged that Musk, so she's in California. I mean, sorry, you're going to get attorney's fees. And if you didn't, I don't know what kind of shit attorney you have. Kept 1 child for 5 months, and during the court proceedings, Musk team dug up parts of her past to portray her as a bad mother. The 2 had dated in 2018 before having kids. Birchall featured prominently in Musk's fight with Grimes, acting as a go-between in various negotiations between the musician and Musk. Birchall was also present in the Austin courtroom during the court fight. The case had been resolved and is now sealed. Grimes and Musk alternate weeks with the children, according to the people familiar with the matter. St. Clair had a front row seat to the custody battle since she was dating Musk at the time and updated her on the deliberations. And yet she was still too dumb to not get involved. A year later, she was in her own fight with Musk. Yeah, she wanted that fight. Let's be honest. After becoming pregnant with their son, St. Clair and Musk's relationship progressed, with Musk sending her flowers on her birthday and Mother's Day. St. Clair's toddler from a prior relationship had play dates with Musk's young children, and she and the toddler met Musk's mother, May. At one point, St. Clair had a custom-made black Make America Great Again, excuse me, with Gothic-style font made for Musk. Why'd she do that? That sounds horrible. A twist of the bright red cap. Musk wore it everywhere, even referencing it in the stump speeches for Trump during the election. In November, Musk responded to a selfie she texted him saying, "I want to knock you up again." While she was pregnant, Musk had urged her to deliver the baby via cesarean sections and told her he didn't want the child to be circumcised. Musk, okay, what's wrong with that? Musk had posted on X that vaginal births limit brain size and that C-sections, okay, that makes sense, allow for larger brains. St. Clair is Jewish and circumcisions are an important. You should not be banging a Jewish girl. Is she religious though? And she decided against a C-section. He told her she should have 10 babies, and they debated the child's middle name. Once she became visibly pregnant, she mostly stayed inside her apartment so the pregnancy wouldn't become public, she said. During the pregnancy, Musk instructed Birchall to send St. Clair $2 million for expenses. She said with half of that amount structured as a loan, according to the text message viewed by the Journal. She used the funds in part to pay for security, which came to more than $100,000 a month, she said. I mean, you don't have to live where she did. That's just what I'm saying. I mean, that seems exorbitant, but she's a stupid Jewish girl. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say Jewish. She's just a stupid girl. Jewish girl. When she was in the hospital being induced into labor in September, Burchell texted her about leaving Musk's name off the birth certificate. According to texts viewed by the Journal, shortly before she had hired an attorney, something Burchell had warned her not to do. That's fine. I don't care that she did that. She complied with the request to not name Musk on the birth certificate. Not long after the birth, Burchell pushed St. Clair to sign documents keeping the father of the baby and the details regarding the relationship with Musk secret in return for financial support. Okay, there you go. The offer was a one-time fee of $15 million for a home and living expenses, plus an additional $100,000 a month until the baby turned 21. I mean, mom could do whatever she wants. She could work. She could not work. She's going to have $15 million in a house or whatnot. That seems like a pretty good deal. What is, let's do this. Okay, let's do 100. I'm probably should be better at math, even though I got a math degree. Let's back here. Oh, shit. Hang on. Okay, so that's about $25 million of $100,000 over 21 years. Yeah, $100,000 a month. Okay, people, $100,000. I don't know why I was thinking of a year. That was $100,000 a month. Okay, that's that's $1.2 million a year. I don't know what do you want? Okay, Musk told her by text it was dangerous to reveal the relationship of the baby, to reveal his relationship to the baby, describing himself as the number 2 after Trump for assassination. He added that only the paranoid survive, but she didn't sign the agreement. So she would have got what, 25 million plus another 15, so 25, 30, 40 million. Okay, but she didn't sign. The agreement prevented her from speaking about Musk in relation to the child or disparaging him, but didn't bar Musk from speaking negatively about her if he wanted. St. Clair would have to pay, but didn't bar Musk from speaking negatively about. So it just probably said, you can't speak negatively about me. Yeah, it didn't say anything like, and I can speak negatively about you. It just left that blank. St. Clair would have to pay back the 15 million lump sum if she broke the agreement. How difficult is that? One of the main sticking points, she said, was that it would make her son feel illegitimate. Well, yes, but you slept with this guy. I don't know what these women are expecting. And Musk is a piece of shit, and you should know that from the start. The agreement didn't provide support for the child if he became gravely ill, or a trust fund or life insurance if Musk died before the child turned 21. The agreement would also not have been an allotment for security expenses. I have a case right now as an example. Well, let's say you make an agreement and child support, at least how we deal this, maybe this agreement wasn't well done, but it survives the death of the payor. So there's things by operation of law that you terminate. Spousal support, okay? If you're getting spousal support by operation of law, and in other words, when something happens, this just cancels out. It stops, which is the death of the payor, okay? Elon Musk, if he's paying spousal support and he dies, he doesn't have to pay anymore. The death of the payee, it rules her as well, or him. It also is if they get remarried. So if they get remarried, then the payee gets, the one that's receiving the money gets remarried. It also terminates there. Now, there's similar situations for child support, which is they're 18 and out of high school. There's some other little provisions, but the death of the payor, I'm doing one right now. A guy died. They were divorced, but he had a support order. I just was in court this last week, and they were trying to, the estate's trying to terminate it, and sorry, it still goes. So, I mean, I don't know what her attorney said, but anyway, one of the main sticking points she said was that her son, okay, we talked about died, the The agreement would not for security purpose. Okay, there she is, looking so forlorn and such concern that she's in her high rise. She wanted a paternity test. Courts in New York, where St. Clair lives, require the test to sanction child support agreements. I said, yeah, okay. One of the St. Clair's attorneys. A few times, St. Clair tried to hash things out directly with the billionaire, but the courts in New York require the test to sanction child support agreements. I don't know about that. That seems really hanky. You can't get you could agree to zero. I don't know. I'm not buying that one. I would want to see that. That's one of those things where you're like, yeah, I want to see that. Quote me that statute. A few times St. Clair tried to hash things out directly with the billionaire, but she said he ignored her text. In February, when she learned the tabloid preparing a story about the relationship, she decided to front run it and posted about it on X, making everything public for the first time. She said, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father, she wrote. I have not previously disclosed this Okay, we've already talked about. 4 days after the post, Musk eliminated the $15 million offer. Then, as he went to court to discuss paternity testing, Musk requested a gag order. Okay, did he get one? Because this article's out. He lowered the financial offer further, dropping her support to $40,000 a month, just as the legal fees were set to balloon in the fight. On Thursday, the Journal contacted Musk for comment. Friday, St. Clair didn't receive her child scheduled support payment from Musk. She said late on Tuesday. She said Musk team sent her $20,000, halving her stipend again. The timing of the reduction in payments from him are timed with disagreements on testing and gag orders. The only conclusion we can make for the money is being weaponized. Okay, these attorneys, said Dror Bickle, another of St. Clair's attorneys. St. Clair's legal fees have exceeded $240,000. I don't fucking care. The case is working its way through the New York Supreme Court, which ordered that Musk take the paternity test. Friday, the results came back. A report probably was 99. Okay, so he's the father. Okay, so these last few ones get me, which is, she's forcing it and he's playing the game. If there's not a support order in effect, he's not required to give you money. So crawl all you want, maybe get a job, maybe work things out. Maybe and you're gonna make me complain about what would this was 2 months worth of support from him, $240,000. That was just it was just 2.5 months. I mean, that's nothing. And she's complaining about it. So let's get back here. Let's see the chat. I've done a lot of chit chat talking here. So oh boy. Okay, you guys, there we go. Okay, so we're way back here. Looking good for 2 kids though. Yeah, okay, we talked about that. Redneck, okay. Patrick Shout says, even with that 60% cut, the lady is still making more money than me and my wife for nothing more than spreading her legs. Yep. Mad Hose, holy smokes, late night show. Yeah, late night show. I'm out here. It's not that late. It's 9:13 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. You're a legend, Tyler. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys, I know some of you know this. I do the Tower Gang. I produce that show over there, and I see a bunch of you guys from there coming in here. Appreciate that. Tomorrow, we're still just letting you know. Remember this. We're still doing a show tomorrow. And then next week, I'm going to have Bob Murphy on. He said he would come on the show, so that's kind of exciting. I keep moving this, but that's not where my camera is. My camera's over here. Things are all hokey out here in this backyard. And I did I don't know if you saw this, but I clipped a part. We had the show last week, which is Dave and Doug Murray and Douglas Murray, Dave Smith. And I had the show got cut down. It got totally, this is when things are popping off. And I had a clip. It was like 7-minute clip I put out on Twitter, and it hit 100,000 views. I got a bunch of people commenting. And then a guy took that clip, and it was funny because Top Lobster's like, I posted it and it started popping off, and then Top's like, you know what you need to do? You need to take this and condense it more so that they're like opposing comments. And I'm like, I don't have time to do that. And then a guy that had been tagged in my video, Good Morning AM, Good Morning or something like that, who we follow each other, he all of a sudden did that and he posted it, and that thing gets millions of views. Okay, I should take Top's comments here. But anyway, that was popping off, and the show on YouTube got pulled down for copyright. And I objected, or appealed, and it came back. They're like, okay, because Rogan's a piece of shit for all those things. So anyway, that was a good show last week. So I'm kind of bummed that it was gone for the whole time, that it could have taken advantage of this, but I appreciated that. Bob Murphy mentioned me on his show because I had this clip that I had found with Douglas Murray combating himself. Douglas Murray arguing against Douglas Murray. And I thought it was pretty fantastic. It's crazy, some of the people out there, though, with that case, the Douglas Murray debate stuff, that the way they saw it. And, I've listened to that debate in a bunch of clips over and over. And we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to go into that tomorrow, so don't forget that tomorrow. We're going to talk about the murder aspect of that and if that is actually a legitimate issue. Okay, Tyler streaming this late at night. Well, it's like I said, it's not too late here, people. Is he chasing Jewish women on purpose? Maybe. Yeah, JC and Patrick Schaus are also legends. Yes, Phobes is in here. Great to see you as well. It's been a while. Elon just likes getting some stank on his hang down, man. Why so much hate? Okay. Does anyone remember the show Reboot? Because every time I hear Fong, I hear I don't know it. Sorry about that. Old Chinese robot thing. Maybe that's what it was. Rootless said, bet it was St. Clair's ice cream. So good. Video that sealed the deal for him. The way you wrote that, I did it more as Fong would have said it. Ice cream so good. I don't know what video you're talking about. I didn't consume very much Ashley St. Clair at all. I always miss the episode when they become adults and when they so confused at state. By the way, must talk about that reboot. I saw Nick Rekieta got sent, or his sentencing is coming up, so that'll be interesting. I could have walked through that, but how long have we been going here? 40 minutes, almost an hour. That's pretty solid. We're almost done. I'm going to keep going through that. Why doesn't Elon get Bill Gates pregnant? Bill has just. You guys are the best. Phobes says, I mean, there's plenty of evidence Elon is doing a lot of coming and going. Okay. The bitch tried to use corrupt Cali courts to steal Elon's child. Messed up. If you guys don't know, I practice in California courts, and Musk probably has a better shot as a father in California courts than he does in many, many other states. They would have a presumption, it's by statute, that each parent should have equal parenting time, and then as in the best interest of the child, and then that you can break down from there. So he would have got at least a good shake on that. I don't know that he wanted custody. I mean, that's the thing that a lot of these bitches, I don't really know what's going on. It's just, and this is what's weird about the money in these women. He's picking these women, which is, and by the way, I do not advocate his style at all, but it is weird. It's like, you're getting more than enough money. He's not interested in being part of your life. Can you just get along and go along? I mean, it sounds ridiculous, actually, but I don't think it necessarily is. Let's get. Keep up your videos, Tyler. I love your content. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I'm not going to stop. Top Lobster is a fucking piece of crap. The show you're thinking is Good Morning Liberty. Good Morning Liberty. Top Lobster is a piece of crap, but he is my friend. And so, what are you going to do? Bully Bob into doing Krugman again. Yeah, okay. So, hey, if you guys have questions for Bob Murphy, please let me know. I've got a few ideas, and he actually texted me today or messaged me, and he's like, because we're figuring out the time, and he's much better than Bob, than Tom Woods has been. Tom said he's going to come on my show, and then crickets. So I'm like, he's like, hey, what are we going to talk about? Is it going to be like the Douglas Murray debate? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I've already got some ideas. I think age of consent. No, we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about some things. And if you guys have questions for him, let me know. But I'm pretty much just wing it. When I bring on a guest, I have some ideas and maybe some video or something I want to play. But for the most part, I wing it. I just there's something, I just want to kind of do my own here. Phobe says, I'm sure we get along in real life. There are a lot of people who are horrible humans on the internet. Yeah, I mean, so here's been my thing with Top Lobster, which is one, I enjoy someone who is biting with me, combative, almost combative with me in a way. I mean, like my best friends, my brother-in-law, sometimes my wife. This real condescending humor, right? And it's that kind of thing. Top Lobster. I mean, he's been. By the way, when my wife, she had an issue with her eye a few weeks ago. We're in the hospital, and I just did mention something in our Target group chat. He's in my own, texting me, asking me multiple days in a row how things are, and I was like, you don't have to do that. I've never personally met him. We do shows together. We do video stuff all the time. We're offline doing video stuff. Figuring shit out. It's just been very nice to me. And so, yeah, some people can be real shit online, but there is something about people that are like that, right? Which are, you can tell that they're good humans. Andy, my buddy Andy, was like that. I mean, for whatever reason, Toad has been nice to me. Jose, Cole. I mean, Cole's a little more flighty, but he's young, right? So it's what it is. But a lot of people in our group chats that I've been on with in Twitter, you get to know people, and it's also where I feel like, okay, a bunch of people reach out to me every once in a while about like their family law shit, and I try to help them as best I can. It's kind of like, we all have our own places in life. I'm not going to get rich off of referrals from Twitter. It's just, and that's not my thing. But you have family, you have friends, you have people, acquaintances. They have questions or they have an issue. Do what you can to help, because I've got a skill, and there's some things, and I reach out to other people that have skills in their own things, and they help us. So anyway, there we are. Phobe says, well, Tom Woods is a psychopath. Malice said so himself. So you're dodging a bullet. I don't know. I'm still looking for him to come on here. But I'll keep trying. Elon Musk is African. It's no surprise he has multiple baby mamas. Yeah. Well, and his buddy there is taking care of the show is a Mormon. So he's just fallen in the path of the Mormons. I think that's one TG member not listed. Well, look, I didn't mean to make it sound that way, but Clint is he's got his own shit going on. By the way, let me back up with Clint. I'll tell you this. Clint's not in my DMs asking me how I am. Okay, he's not. But I will say this: he's been nice from day one. He always is interested in my opinion offline about shows, certain things. Seems more sometimes my opinion than some of the other guys in there, because I just have a different perspective. And he was one of the first. I think he was the first guest I ever had on this show. Okay, he's kind of the impetus. I always talk about this when I go on places. I'm like, and by the way, I'm still laughing about this route list that there was one not listed. No, but Clint is still one person that I listened to his shows early on, and because he had a tweet out there, and he's like, I'm gonna convert millions of people with this, this one episode. I was like, oh, here we go. Let's listen to this stupid guy. So I listened to it, and I was like, oh, actually, that was pretty solid. It was him talking to one of his good friends about libertarianism, and just the guy had great questions, and it was a solid show. It was like episode, I don't know, like 13 or something like this. And I was like, oh, okay. I gave it a shot, and I started listening to it more. And then one of my first reviews was Clint's show. And, it's funny if you go back and listen to some of it, I'm not saying it's cringe, but it's not bad. I'd been doing podcasting for a while, so it wasn't all that bad. But one thing I had said about Clint, I'm like, hey, you know what? I want like just some little all stuff, production wise and so things. And he actually made some changes. And then he said, I'll come on your show. And I had him on twice, and he was super nice. So I appreciate people like him that came on early. Josh Smith, who else? Well, he took me on his show. That was the first big one I had on, or I went on. Pete Quinones came on, Tower Gang, whatever. Okay. YouTube be censoring links to Twitter. Okay. Well, guys, I think Clint's show isn't bad for a boomer. Yeah. So that used to be my outro. Not so bad for a boomer. All right, guys. That's all we're having tomorrow. 4:15 Pacific. Do the math for your own time zone. 7:15 Eastern. That's where we're going to be. We're going to be talking murder. Okay, multiple murder things. Once again, it started off with Dave Smith murder critique about Gaza, and then a lot of people are pushing back. And there's the know-it-alls. I'm definitely not a know-it-all, but I saw this lady breaking this down, and she's like, it's ridiculous that Dave Smith calls what Israel does murder. And then she's going on a little bit later, and she says the word. So when Gazans murder or Hamas murdered Israelis, and you're like, wait a second, if this is a conflict, why is one side not considered murder and the other side is considered murder? Or do we not have two equal powers? And you know what? We don't have two equal powers, but I don't think it's the way she thinks it is. And so we will get there. Everybody, appreciate you coming in. We will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to join in. Don't forget to like the show. Everything. Make all the little comments, tweaks, like, subscribe, whatever you got. We'll see you then.
Okay, I'm leaving now, guys.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any knowledge of the real world of what happens, we walk into Timcast's studio, immediately there's 4 Jewish lawyers.
King of the Druids!
Oh, that's all we needed. A Jewish princess.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't expect the normies like Tyler to understand these kind of things. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
This guy's, I wouldn't say he's full of shit, but I'd say he's stupid. Whatever, if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat now, I wouldn't pay attention to anything he says anyway. But
more or less, eat shit and die.
Don't ever come to the top left. He will end you. Do you see what he just did to Tyler? Just fucking challenge this.
Tyler's done.
Top is a maniac.
He can't even reply right now because he's crippled.
He's got nothing to say.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?